All right, just have a quick commentary here for you guys as I talk about celibacy, Hubbae, and Bridgerton. So, a lot of celebrities have been coming out lately, people in the entertainment world, as celibate, and they all have their different reasonings behind it. But to me, it just goes to show you that we're realizing that sex isn't everything and that being in a loving, healthy relationship, a committed monogamous relationship, people still want that. People still need that. And if they don't have that, they will choose to be in a celibate lifestyle because they realize that they don't want to give it up to everyone and anyone just because they don't just want to have a partner just so they can sleep with them, but they're not getting along, they're not happy. So for those people of faith, having a good marriage relationship is something that uh, looks like people may prefer. And if they don't have that, or if they don't have a good relationship or a long term relationship, etc., they're going to go for the celibacy route. And it's a little surprising because there's men involved in this as well, not just women celebrities. Um, so it's a little surprising, but I think it's a good thing. Um, I don't think it's something you should just jump on the bandwagon because everyone else is doing it. But in a way, it's a positive thing to jump on the bandwagon for. Even if you're doing it just because everyone else is doing it, you'll still learn a lesson from it. You'll still get benefits from it. So this is a kind of a trend that I think if you jump on it, it actually will help you out because some of these trends are crazy and it does the opposite. So I commend them for coming out and sharing this information, being an example. I may have said this before, but celibacy has become a trend. There's groups that I'm a part of as well. I know there's other groups out there, so it's become a thing. Um, I think it's stuff that we have to get worked out in our life, in our mind, in our heart. And, sex can kind of cloud that. Sex can kind of, especially with the wrong person, it can kind of give us a bad idea of ourselves, distract us from ourselves. I'll say that. It'll tie us to someone that maybe we shouldn't be tied to, and we're have the wrong focus. So it's a lot of benefits to celibacy, and everybody has their own claim to fame of why. But I just wanted to point that out, that that's a thing. And then I also wanted to point out, I do want to thank those that are following my YouTube on CBiz TV Media. If you aren't following, please do so. And also, other page that I have is Single Christian Girl, and that's also on YouTube. Please like and follow. But I had shared on one of those pages an interview with Tyrese talking about his marriage and just marriage in general, and I got thousands of views, and I really appreciate those that took a look at it. But I also got some comments from mostly men, negative comments, as far as, basically a woman will break your heart because marriage won't work. Tyrese, for those that don't know, he is divorced, and he was basically really heartbroken in that situation and didn't know it would go down that way. In the clip, he celebrates marriage and how it made him feel. And he was saying, it wasn't that person, but it was just the idea that he wanted to be married and respect the sanctity of marriage, but also be a part of that institution. He was a man that was ready to be married and to live that lifestyle. Because sometimes I do think people get married because they say, well, you're the one, but mentally and emotionally, they are not in the state of being marriage material. They're still up to their old ways. They're still trying to sow their wild oats. So in that case, you shouldn't really get married. But if you're in the mindset of, okay, I know this is what marriage is, it's commitment, responsibility, it's staying together through your ups and downs. And he also said it was amazing. And he mentioned the honeymoon and all the beautiful things about marriage. So I thought it was a beautiful clip of him celebrating marriage. even though he was heartbroken in the aftermath of his own marriage. And hopefully marriage is in his future for him again. Also, um, I want to mention that I saw a post from a gentleman who was crying at his own wedding, and he was saying, he always wanted to find love. And in Tyrese's case, he was on another interview that I didn't share on my YouTube, and he was crying um just because of life challenges, and I believe the love situation, love issues that he went through. So it just shows the softer side of a man wanting to be loved, a man wanting to be married, a man respecting that institution. And I just think it's a beautiful thing to see that as well. It's a light trend. I don't see it heavy, but I just noticed those two incidents. And just to see that, men are out here too struggling and wanting to be loved, wanting marriage, and wanting all those things that the end all be all. But a lot of times we have, accepted the consolation prize because people aren't ready to settle down. They're not ready to give us what we want. They're not ready to give us, the plan that God has for most human beings is to marry and to procreate. They're not ready to do that. They may want to stay out on these streets. So those of us that want to get married and want to have a faithful partner in a monogamous relationship, we are kind of suffering. So we do have to turn to this celibacy thing. Um, and it's good to just see people showing their emotions, and that, yeah, we really do want real love. We don't want this fake stuff that's been out here. And as the years go on, relationships are just deteriorating, people just using each other and not really having a good foundational relationship when it comes to marriage and partnership. So people are out here suffering from that, and this is kind of like the aftermath, and letting us see and letting us know. And this is just a small little portion of the world. I mean, there's probably so many other people that are going through this in a different way, just mourning and grieving the idea of love, marriage, relationship, and the fact that it hasn't happened, it's not happening, or it happened and it went wrong. And I mourn the fact that a marriage didn't happen for me as well. So I understand where they're coming from. I understand where this population is coming from. And a lot of times it is the people that are a little bit older that are in the realization of this. But the young people, some of them have also joined the bandwagon as far as celibacy, because they realize they don't want to be what they so-called say ran through. Because not only are you physically run through when you give yourself to multiple people, you are emotionally, spiritually run through, and you shouldn't put that on yourself. And people kind of put women down because, men do the same thing. And I think Taraji P. Henson was talking about American men being run through. Well, I don't know the context of that interview or article, but I mean, men and women can be run through. A lot of times the onus is put on women, like calling her negative words and whatnot. But in fact, men have done it too, and it does affect them emotionally, mentally, spiritually, as I mentioned before with the celibacy, and people really wanting to, I thought marriage was supposed to be this. I thought it was till death do us part, and I meant that, and I was trying to live that, and you didn't. So it's just a lot of different issues that we're going through as we're trying to navigate this space. And a lot of people are just kind of going it alone in some cases. But I do want to give love and praise to all those that have great relationships. And I hope that they continue to be some beautiful relationships and examples for us, for those of us that don't have that. I also want to mention, a couple of people that I've witnessed that, I'm not going to name names, but, they and it's not just like close witnesses, it's distant witnessing. But what it takes for some people to get married is it takes a kid, because some people weren't never going to get married, or or one had intention to get married, the other may not have, but the kid is what made them decide to get married, or at least warm them up to the idea. In some scenarios, the guy went out and kind of sold his wild oats. He wanted this certain young lady. He basically wanted her to wait for him. So he went out and sold his wild oats and did everything he wanted to do. And then when he was done, he came back to her and married her. And I don't know all of the details in between, but why do we have to go through things like that? Why does she have to sit there and wait for him to do whatever he wants to do? I think that's better than doing that within the relationship, but still, it's like, why am I waiting for someone that doesn't want to fully commit to me? They want to see what else is out there before they come back to me, and then they're kind of ran through at that point. So these are just different scenarios and relationship scenarios where, some people have gone through to get to that point of going down the aisle. And sometimes it takes different things. Sometimes it's not, the most romantic fairy tale story. Sometimes a kid comes out and, we have to get married. So it's not always butterflies, sunshine, and romance. And marriage is work. And a lot of people realize, okay, yeah, marriage is work. However you get down the altar, once you get there, if you stay committed, if you respect the marriage and all of these things, respect and love each other, if you forgive each other's faults and you try to fix those issues that you have, then I say kudos to you. You made it down the altar no matter how you got down there. Love and respect to you. And if you continue to make it work, love and respect to you, and happiness for your future. I hope and I pray for you. And here's my final thoughts here, because I want to invite you guys to check out our Bridgerton meetup. This is for the ladies, and it's called Are You a Bridgerton Lady? We've done one meetup. We're planning on doing more in the future. If you're interested, email me at cbiztv@yahoo.com. That's cbiztv@yahoo.com. And you can learn more on our YouTube pages. I may put the whole meetup on one of our YouTube pages. We'll see how that goes, but just keep your eye out. Subscribe to YouTube at Single Christian Girl, or you can also subscribe to CBiz TV Media. Excuse me, and email me at cbiztv@yahoo.com if you are not able to get to the pages. And if you want to know more about our Are You a Bridgerton Lady meetup. Now, this is something I wrote down, just my thoughts, and kind of what inspired me to do this meetup. Okay, so it says women who show their bodies get the most attention in society, and they are encouraged to share their bodies with their male suitors. At the same time, talked badly about for doing so. You can't win either way. What the Bridgerton woman represents is beauty and class, modesty and respect. It's an example we should see more often. He has to ask for your hand and be approved by your family. This is how a lady should be treated by our true value and worth. So that's kind of the basis of our Bridgerton Lady meetups. It's fun. It's a little fantasy. We dress up. We say, okay, if we were in that time, what would we be doing? We kind of connect it to our own lives if you want to, or you could just completely come up with your own story. But that's the fun part of it. But then we talk about some of these romantic issues and kind of how women were treated back then versus how we have been treated in this day and time, and just the different respect levels, and just to be able to kind of air those things out, air out your grievances, talk about these issues, and to be able to just be a lady and be formal and be modest and still be beautiful and respected, and not expected to be an Instagram model and all of that. To be dressed, fully dressed, but still look cute, still look beautiful, still look posh. It's the fun thing about this meetup that we are doing. So if you're interested in joining us, all ages are welcome, ladies. You can email me again at cbiztv@yahoo.com. But we're going to talk about different topics, and one of them is coming up um, in the meeting. And I've heard this where men have said, if you would act like a lady, I'll treat you like one. And I don't like that phrasing. I don't like that being said. So that's going to be one of the topics that we cover. But last time we just kind of introduced ourselves, came up with our Bridgerton lady names, what we would be in our own little society that we created, and who we would be there. Um, and it's just a lot of fun. It's a bonding thing. And it's like, hey, you don't have to be this type of woman. You can be this type of woman and be respected and have respectability and have class and be proud of yourself and still be yourself and have joy within yourself. And you don't have to be that girl that's her stuff is too tight. She's barely wearing anything. And she's trying to show this so she can attract men. And what type of men do we attract in that situation and scenario, though? Do we attract our husbands, or do we attract someone that's just going to play with us for that moment? So a lot of just different things to think about, topics to cover, fun stuff to do. It's very informal. We kind of just play it by ear. So join us next time, and we'll let you know next time when we have one of these events. But that was just a quick chat, guys, as we talk about celibacy, Hubbae, and Bridgerton. Thanks for hanging out with me as I kind of mixed it up with a little bit of everything. And I'll talk to you next time. All the best. God bless.